Freeton, and a warm welcome to this edition of the Podium, which is coming to you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation with me, Asmiba. We start with a quote of the day, which comes from Elie Wiesel, who is a Romanian-born American writer, professor, Nobel laureate, and a Holocaust survivor, and it says, "There may be times when we are powerless to prevent injustice, but there must never be a time when we..." Coming up into this edition of the program, normalcy disrupted in some major cities in Sierra Leone following a sit-down strike noticed by a group of people. The Minister of Information will give us government's reaction to this sit-down strike, and we shall be talking to our correspondents in the regions who will give us updates from their areas to know exactly how is life in their parts of the country. All these stories and more, including your text messages, which you can send to 088-373-504. The number again is 088-373-504. The program is Podium. The number you can send your messages to is 088-373-504. There appears to be a climate of unease following social media posts of a proposed strike action starting today, dubbed as August 8th. But it remains unclear who the architects of the protests are, except for audio and video messages from Sierra Leoneans who reside in the diaspora calling for a demonstration. Well, in a release, the security sector described the incident, the intended protest, as faceless, while calling on citizens to back up their normal activities. In the early hours of Monday, the proposed strike action caused fear in many who, for safety reasons, may stay at home, but the security sector has urged people to go about their normal businesses. Well, for more on that, let's now see how we can talk to our correspondents from various parts of the country. Let's start with correspondent in Kenema, who is Prince Musa. Before we came on here, he scanned the Kenema city to know exactly what was happening there.
This is Kailam Town, and Mina Esakani Kabo where they bring this report come. And Fambul, because of the strike action within the social media, people feel say
Fambul, of course, the main phenomenon in Lorifa. As I say, the main area. Every Monday, people come to country, the Luma, and people come from different parts, the districts from across the 14 children. They can do them business that is where they can with them, pepper and other to them. And also people can build them. They also for monitor for sake of this strike action. What you want to see, a lot of people then don't come because this money is very fine. But some don't come on now, we don't see a lot of people then, don't come, and other motivators in this area, they don't other parts of the country. We see the situation peaceful. Since this morning up to date, you not see any group of people they will come out for demonstrate, and we see police presence second day. But according to the man of the state, he has to say police in there are in plain clothes for citizens continue to monitor the situation.
This is one of the banks we get at Kailong. We're in the local commercial bank. As we see, it open. We see customers or people, they still continue to do their normal business. I think Kailong is relatively calm. As we see, everybody, this is the normal state of Kailong. The normal states in business and the movement of Kailong. And by the look of things, Kailong is relatively calm. And this is not Kailong town, and Mina Esakani Kabo with the bring this report come. And Fambul, because of the strike action within the social media, where people feel say people will sit down. As we said, this is the main side of Kailong town. We see a lot of people everywhere. All the shops are open. As you can hear, all the shops are open. This is not the clock tower. You will see the bikes people, the motor drivers union, all the people, they begin the way they go school don't go. Everywhere open, and everybody they do and go about their normal business. As owner can see, every life they own, the bike riders, then they all now then pack them, they move around with all their businesses. Everybody they about in business, they make sure say they do the normal business where they go on now the Kailong town as they bring this report. This is not the main motor park within the Kailong town, and this is key areas in. As you see, even the Sierra Star, with the left of the Freetown, you see a lot of things that go on normal, and these are the normal state of Kailong town. We see police officers and still the experience, then they look at the situation. But Kailong relatively peaceful, and Kailong they go on, and now the bank we then at Kailong. In Kailong we get two of the banks thing. We get Vista Bank and also Tel Commercial Bank. And we see the operations, even though we did see some amount of security presence, but life they go on. You see everybody there about doing their normal business, and everything they go on normal. People do normal and do the normal business. You see everybody there about, they do the normal business and everything they go on. This is not the local commercial bank. We in Kailong and open. People they go and do the normal business. This is not the main park, motor drivers park within Kailong. You see passengers and people, everybody there about, they do the normal business.
Well, thanks to our correspondents in the eastern region. Well, that's how things were happening this morning in the eastern parts of the country. Well, let's now come to Freetown. As you know, the issue of transportation is very key on a day like this. Many drivers in the early hours of this morning were at home as they were afraid to come out. Well, in the studio now is Mohammed Kande, who is PRO Motor Drivers and General Transport Workers Union. Welcome to the program, Mohammed. Yeah. Okay. Have your men come out now? This morning, they were afraid to come out because of the rumored strike action. Are they out now?
They were out even before that. The only thing, you cannot see them as before because they cannot just move without having people on board. They were all stationed in their normal places, and it was the absence of the people in the early hours. That's why our drivers were not seen. But as of now, as I'm speaking to you, they are working, and some people have developed the confidence to come outside, especially when the security sector of this country gave the assurance that nothing is going to happen and everything is under control.
So what's happening in the various lorry parks? Let's start with the ones in Freetown. I'm sure you're also in touch with your guys in the provinces, you have lorry parks all over the country. What's happening?
Yeah, for Freetown, especially the Waterloo Bombay Lorry Park, because the bulk of the population in Freetown are coming from the east part, and the Waterloo axis is one of the most important means of transportation of people in the east part. They were out there. I spoke to the chairman as early this morning, and I asked him what is the situation there. He told me that everything is there under their control. They are there, only that people are not coming to get on board to come to town. But gradually they have confidence to do their operation, and that nobody is actually disturbing them.
Have you visited any lorry parks? Any lorry park before you came?
Yes, we went round, me and the president, we went round. We went to Waterloo. He is the one who actually brought me here, and before going for another mission. So like we went round and we saw that our men are there. It's only that the people have not come out as they were expecting, because we don't want to do anything that will disturb the business of the people of this country. So as long as we are at our positions, we expect the people to come outside, and we are taking the people. And one of the things that we emphasized before this day was that we want people to serve, our drivers to serve the people as normal as always, because situations like this, some people want to take advantage of it to increase the prices because of this type of situations. But as for those that are outside now, that are going up and down the streets and the country, we tell you that they are still paying as normal as they were paying as usual. So everything is as normal as we used to be.
What about the Freetown to the regions, and have commercial vehicles started moving from Freetown to McKinney, for example, or Freetown to Bo, or Freetown Kenya?
Well, the vehicles are there because the main places for people to go is the Shell, and the vehicles are there because our office is at the Texaco, but people do not come outside actually to the expected number to go outside, and because you have to have a certain capacity that we give you the confidence to go. But for a vehicle of 18 or 20 passengers, cannot just leave Freetown to go to the provinces with few passengers, because that will affect some other things.
So are we going to see passengers who wish to go to the provinces going to be stranded today? They will be unable to
For
go?
the very few that took the venture to go will be stranded, not because there are not vehicles to go, but because in that case they have to think of capacity, because if you have to get your fuel and other running costs, you have to see how many people you are actually taking there that you can make it. But for town service, it is working right now.
For the past days, you've gone to various places asking your men not to heed the call of not coming out today. Did they get your call? Did they listen to you?
They listen to us because this one, everybody can attest to the fact that it is not as it was in the recent past strike or sit down, when even if people wanted to go outside, it will be difficult to see a commercial vehicle. It was only the motorbikes that were prominent at that time, even though it was challenging for many people who do not dare to take them. But as for this time now, you can tell that the drivers' union message to our members really impacted the situation, because if even at New Englandville here, you can see most of our vehicles parked there, because I went there before I came on studio. They are parked there and they are ready, and they are calling passengers to go to Eastern Police. But they are not going as frequent as before, which cannot be determined by the actions of our members, but by the availability of the people that wanted to go.
Okay. He is Mohammed Kandene, who is the PRO Motor Drivers and General Transport Workers in the program Podium. coming to you from Freetown. Send your message to the number 0883733504. Well, today's action started on social media as some social media users, some bloggers, we are the ones who are propagating that today should be a sit-down strike. Well, how has social media influenced some of these activities in a country like Sierra Leone that many of its young people are social media users? Well, in the studio we have Dr. Tony Musa, who is a lecturer at the Mass Communications Department of Farabi College and also a social media expert. Welcome to the program, Dr. Tony Musa.
Good afternoon and thanks for having me.
I mean, we've seen the role of social media in all this that is happening now in the country. Is it something that we had foreseen that there will come a time when social media would set the agenda, for example?
Well, yes. If I could say yes. But beyond that, when we look at what the internet is doing, there are logic that can explain. We have what we call the connective logic. We have what we call the collective logic. And then what we are seeing now, there is what we call collective failure, but there is connective effects. In that simply means this platform has been used in some other parts of the world. For example, when we look at the Arab Spring, there were antecedents to the circumstance itself beyond social media. But social media fueled, the uprising or the insurgency that we dubbed as the Arab Spring. And it was as a result of both connective and collective logic, which happened in the Arab Spring. Coming here now, for example, we have experienced, or most people are familiar with what we call disinformation, misinformation, malinformation, fake news, etc., especially when we are responding to COVID-19. But coming down, we are also aware of what we call hate speech, and then we also have what we call malicious propaganda, which are now found on social media platforms. Opportunity for this is the user-generated content framework which we have. It used to be WhatsApp, especially for Sierra Leone, Facebook, and now we even have TikTokers, who are talking all over the place. And it has made the opportunity possible for people to even crop, manipulate audio, videos, and even photos, and then disseminate them widely. And as such, there is also not only information but also entertainment in the process. And you are talking about youngsters who are highly attracted by these platforms and they are vast in using it. But what the state is yet to do is to manage the effects. So the logic around, the connective output now is about managing the effect of social media.
So, I mean, how should the state manage this as we speak now? Does the state have what it takes to really manage that at this moment?
There are some of the things that the state have, and then there are other things that the state is yet to put in place. For example, let's just say, for example, debunking what has already, resulted to this. The state has that capacity to debunk what is on social media by using mainstream media and also ensuring that social media does not set the agenda for security, as far as the state apparatus is concerned. So I think the state has that opportunity or even that facility to do so. Going further, the state can also increase what we call mass awareness in terms of fact-checking, cross-checking what people see on social media platform. And again, the state also has the capacity, to ensure that this same platform that they are using to mislead people, the state can use it, to educate, mobilize people to understand what is correct. Because if you leave it, to the abusers, because we have what we call social use and antisocial use. Now we are suffering from antisocial use. So if you fail to take proactive measures, you are giving space to antisocial use, which will bring about what we call negative connections. And now what we are seeing is negative connection. We want to use now positive connection to respond to it. So this was why I told you earlier on that we have what we call collective logic and connective logic. Coming in now to say there is security, there is stability, life is normal, it's just about our collective efforts now to see that we ensure that life is normal. But then earlier on, we would have also used our connective, networks and platforms to debunk what has already been on social media.
Dr. Musa, one of the difficulties or the quagmire that governments in the world find themselves in is that many a time those who propagate some of these messages are not within the jurisdiction of certain governments, and the governments are constrained, if I could say, to use the law to go after those people who are the propagators of some of those stuff.
You are right. But that is just about litigation and prosecution. There are other preventive mechanisms beyond that. It's about attracting the listenership. Now, if government can attract the listenership, then government can easily debunk whatsoever people are sending in. But if government fails to do so in time and logically, then they will have to emerge.
I mean, what about before debunk? Normally it is said it is better to prevent. They say a stitching time is better what?
Okay. Yes.
So I mean, instead of debunking, what about preventing it?
Yes.
What about having your message first to go out?
That is what I'm saying. If you fail to send your message out, when they send their own message, they become the agenda setters.
Yeah.
You understand? So that is one mechanism which I told you earlier on, that government has, certain things in place that they could use, to prevent or even manage a situation of this nature. Now, information vacuum can always be filled, whenever it exists. So in this case, you have to prepare the minds of people to understand. You are not just coming, for example, to tell them about the procedures for demonstration when somebody is demanding to demonstrate. You just have to have a way to always keep them alert that, protesting is their right, but there is a procedure to that right. Given that we are now coming to sensitive period. Sensitive period in the sense that elections have been announced, and those are the politicking that people will be doing onto elections. So you always have to be on alert to use social media platforms to educate people about due process. You are going to be processed, due process. You want to express grievance, due process. So people need to understand, and also with that, going further, they are talking about cybercrime, cyber law, cybernetics. Much public education also is required around that, and it should not be responsive. It should be proactive measure so that people can be engaged in time. And then with that, like I said earlier on, their drive towards connective logic or collective logic, we can now see how best the state can manage that.
The program is a podium coming to you from Freetown. Send your text message to the number 0883-735-04, 0883-735-04. Before I go to the Minister of Information, who has just joined us in the studio, before I go to him, now, I'm sure as months and years go by, the influence of social media is going to be enormous, and governments all over the world are going to grapple with that. What are we heading for?
Well, of course, we are heading for technological determinism. Basically, technology is going to determine everything we do, and our capacity to drive the process, will help us manage our response or intervention. There is no way to stop it. And then, but with more or mass awareness about pro-social use of it, we enhance better results. Second aspect is managing the effects, because I'm still emphasizing this is just one. And if we know what the effects are and the level of effect and the trends that inform us about likely effect, then we become proactive.
Well, he is Dr. Tonia Musa, who is a lecturer at the Mass Communications Department of Fabi College, and we are going for a short break. After the break, the program continues. Don't forget, the program is Podium with me, Asmiba. You can send your message to the number 0883-735-04. When we are back, we shall be talking to the Minister of Information and Communications, Mohamed Rahman Swai, who will be giving us government's reaction to this sit-down strike. It's Podium.
It's the time that we should put respectability to technical education in this country. Now is your time. Now is your time to be adequately trained to serve us in the areas of construction, in the areas of mining and extractive mineralogy, in the areas of farming, tourism, and fishing as well. Go for it. The time is now.
It's they call you. They say yes, they call call. You don't go tire for all I say, because you poor body. Why you not go use the time for learn something? Why you not go use the time for learn some skills? You don't dey talk, say job no day, then you and now idea no day. You don't shout, say job no day, then you and now idea no day.
This message is coming to you from the government of Sierra Leone through the Skills Development Fund Secretariat of the Ministry of Technical and
We are back with the program Podium, which is coming to you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation with me, Asmiba. Well, let's go again to the eastern parts of the country where our colleagues in Kono, Keneman, Kailahun snaps exactly what's happening out there. Let's bring you an update from our eastern region.
This is now Kailahun town, and Mina Esakani Kabo with the bring this report camp. And Fambul, because of the strike action within the social media, where people feel say people will sit down. As we said, this is not the main side of Kailahun town. We see a lot of people everywhere. All the shops are open. As you can hear, all the shops are open. This is not the clock tower. You will see the bikes people, the motor drivers union, all the people, they begin away to go school, don't go, everywhere open, and everybody they do and go about their normal business. As soon as you see, every life they own, the bike riders, then they all not them pattern, they move around with all their business. Everybody they out in business, they make sure say they do the normal business on na the Kailahun town as they bring this report. This is na the main motor park within the Kailahun town, and this na key areas in. You see, even the Sierra Star, where the left for go Freetown. You see a lot of things they go on normal, and these are the normal state of Kailahun town. We see police officers and still the experience when they look at the situation. But Kailahun relatively peaceful, and Kailahun they go on, and now the bank.
Fambul, of course, the main Konomani Loripa, so yeah, the main area. Every Monday, people come to country, the Luma, and people come from different parts, the districts from across the 14 children them. They can do their business here, so where they come with them, pepper and other them. Also, people come boost them. We are really also for monitor the situation for sake of this strike action. Because a lot of people then don't come because this morning the weather don't be fine. But stand on come on now, don't see a lot of people don't come, go. And other motor and this stuff, they go to other parts and the country situation peaceful. Since this morning up to date, we not see any group of people they will come out to demonstrate, and we see police presence technology. According to the man of the security, as to say, police and they are very close for citizens and continue to monitor the situation.
Well, that's Daula Kamara from Kono. Well, thanks to him. Let's now come to the studio. We have the Minister of Information and Communications, Mohammed Rahman Swai. Welcome to the podium.
Yes, thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewers.
I'm sure government is not happy about what is happening now. I mean, no government wants to see its city or its cities look like what they are at the moment. What has been your reaction so far?
So first off, government is not happy, like you mentioned. This is a complete distraction. It's uncalled for as much as it is unwarranted. I mean, the security sector had issued event statements, which I also associate with before to this state of affairs. right? In that press release, everybody was assured of security to go about their normal businesses. Particularly as today's action was called by people who are faceless, who never found time to speak to the police, and all of those things. So we had said life must go as normal, as usual. And then we understand that this is a near gig economy. Many people live by the day. So there are families, small medium enterprises, they egg out a living, look after themselves and their families from selling their wares on a daily basis. So this is very unfortunate. The government is very in view of it. Since this morning, about 6 o'clock, myself and a team of other colleagues, including the Minister of Transport, the Minister of Trade, the Deputy Minister of Fisheries, the Deputy Minister of Energy, and many others, have been to every part of the city, encouraging people to come out and get about their normal.
Are people listening to your call?
Yes, a lot of people are listening to our calls. You could see when we started off this morning, many people were apprehensive. They were not sure about what, the day will look like. But now, if you go around, the story has changed. It's a very developing story.
Changed because?
It's a developing story because they have had reassurances that, nobody will interfere with them, the security situation is okay, and they have seen it. They see people, trading their wares, and there are no disturbances, so that has encouraged others to do so. With big manufacturing outfits, the minister has had a conversation with them. I was present when on a few occasions he intervened and they opened up their shops. So you see the transport sector is running normally, Okada riders, government buses, private products, everybody is.
In a day like this, government also loses revenue.
Absolutely.
As a result of the closure of some businesses. Does government take stock of what it stands to lose?
Government normally does, yes. Government definitely does. Like I mentioned, this is quite unwarranted. As much as people need their normal businesses to survive, government also relies on this taxation to be able to provide basic social services and to run the state. So this is quite a rude disruption. We wish it had not happened. And that is where the disappointment is. Normal, sane, bright thinking Sierra Leoneans, we hit comes by faceless social media, demagogues who call on them to stay home, not to go about their normal businesses that aren't there because of their livelihoods. This is beyond me. It's beyond belief. But
do you follow the debate as a government
that
it's not becoming trendy? A fortnight or a month ago, similar call was made. Almost half of the people stayed at home, and government also lost huge money on that particular day. And so they also similar thing.
Well, so whoever are the faceless firebrands behind those calls, have not manifested love for this country. They hate this country, but it is not the present administration that hates. It is social services that you don't want rendered. You want to undermine government effectiveness, and government effectiveness is measured, amongst other things, by her ability to provide basic social services, electricity, water, and healthcare, and all of those things. The government does not pick up money from taxes. Reliance on donors alone can't cut it. So we really have to have a rethink. Free quality education is here. My colleague just mentioned we have to embark on more digital literacy. This is where the missing link is. Like I said off the screen, we have a university that has remained very committed to doing things the old way. Even the mass communications graduates, we are talking about digital literacy. It's not just being able to type to this, that. You have to know your way around it. And we have a society that's so gullible in more ways than one. This is something my ministry will collaborate with the university and other salient stakeholders in the ecosystem to bring up education. Under the current World Bank funding, there are some resources we will be drawing on to do more digital literacy.
So as a ministry that is responsible for communications, how would you ensure that social media does not set the agenda for you guys? Even if they do, how would you come out with a very swift and timely response?
This is not, we did not have today because of what the response. The last few days, social media has seen a big of activities coming from government, associated government, bloggers, and all of that. Debunking rumors that today was going to be. So it is not for want of information. right? The civil was a group of self-seeking people, yeah, who wanted to hide under the veil of a few clans to bring the city to up. That is what happened. But by and large, they have not succeeded because, to a large extent, nobody has rudely disrupted the city. Life is going on in every part of the city, albeit at a very slow pace.
Okay, those who have been calling for this sit-down strike, they said 2 days people should sit at home. Monday, Tuesday, I think those 2 days people should sit at home, and Wednesday or Thursday also, there should be a demonstration. So how is government bracing itself for the 1 day?
I bet you my everything. Nobody will stay home tomorrow. Nobody will stay home tomorrow because they know they have been duped, they have been hoodwinked. This has been a big hoax, right? When you go home in the evening and find there is nothing for you and your kids to eat, you now know you backed the wrong horse. So as government will continue to assure every Sierra Leonean that there will be peace and calm, peace and security for people to go about their normal businesses. So I encourage everybody listening to me to ensure that they go to work tomorrow, they go and sell their wares, and they go about to just do whatever they do for a living.
Okay, Mr. Minister, let us look at this internationally. The government, the president has been traveling, canvassing donors, investors, to come, and every month or so, this thing keeps repeating itself. Is that not going to scare investors to come in the country like this?
Well, that's what I summed up in very well. This is a complete distraction. Government has pivoted our position as an ideal investment destination, and many investors have heeded that. We've been having them here in jokes. So actions like these would tend to undermine that confidence, and that is where I challenge the media, all of you, right? Because this is about Sierra Leone, the only country we all call home. I don't know if you have another country, for example, but for people like us, this is the only country we call home. We must all join this campaign to make sure that a group of people masquerading in whatever guise do not torpedo and undermine our heart and peace. Right? I think we all, this behoves all of us as Sierra Leoneans.
And many of them,
this campaign.
and many of them,
Dr. Tonya Musa is here. He lectures in the mass communications department. I'm sure he will be taking time off to also go into some public.
And many of them are beyond your reach and beyond your touch as a government. Does that make you worry more?
I don't know what you mean by beyond our reach.
They are outside.
Exactly. That's one of the reasons why we.
So does that make you worry as a government?
Okay, so let me say this. This is again an opportunity for public education. There was a lot of public interest around the cybersecurity and crime law. In the last chapter of the cybersecurity and crime law, talked about international cooperation. With cyber crimes, the perpetrators, for the most part, are domiciled outside the places where the offenses are committed. So it only takes the long arms of the law to get at them. But you are never going to be able to do that if you do not have the necessary collaboration and international cooperation instruments. So in the cybersecurity and crime bill, right, there is actually one for international cooperation. Sadio has, we have indicated our interest to accede to the Budapest Convention. We have indicated our interest to accede to the Budapest Convention. Once we do that, the accession process is on course. Once we successfully get admitted, Sierra Leone, people who commit cyber offenses against Sierra Leone, like incitement, will now be reached.
But I know that sometimes extraditing people is something very difficult. It has its own intricacies and politics as well. At international level, there have been certain people who some government wants, some governments will drag their feet. You and I know the dynamics behind that. I know you are quite a voracious reader, but I'm going to ask you and many others to read the Cybersecurity and Crime Law 2021. Having enforcing, that's what I'm saying. Especially when it goes beyond your own jurisdiction. If you have read it, which I suspect you have not done, and you normally read all of these things. If you read it, when they talk about international cooperation, it does not necessarily mean somebody has to be extradited. You can actually be tried wherever you are using same instruments. So, that is at our disposal. And even that one is sometimes complicated. Life itself is complicated. It is coming to the essence not as easy as complicated. Even coming here to have airtime, to be interviewed, these are complicated.
So life is a complicated process, but that should not stop you trying, right? I am saying we have started the accession process. We have heard from the Secretariat, and in coming days and months, I'm sure Samuel will be a new member who will have successfully acceded to the Budapest Convention. We will have a 24/7 point of contact, who will benefit from international cooperation. Already, ECOWAS is supporting us to set up a national SAT. We have trained judges, some prosecutors are being trained. We have had requests from the law officers to be also trained in adjudicating matters involved in digital space. So a lot of training is ongoing.
This issue, as I said, those who are normally, the propagating some of these messages outside the country. Yes, we have the law, but sometimes going after them using the law itself is very difficult. You know the dynamics and politics behind those things sometimes.
And it also takes some time, like we have had one completing the process, second also getting the individuals into the nets, but then we have local or domestic collaborators, who are propagating whatever that is happening. So within our own jurisdiction, I was expecting to hear what will be the precedent, so that precedent might serve as deterrent, when it comes to a situation of this nature, which is also part of managing the effects.
But I think people
that's why we have prioritized training. This is a fairly new genre in the legal profession out here. So that is why we have, a couple of months ago, we trained about 24 judges, some of the world's best in cyber security. It was a hybrid kind of training. The Chief Justice and his whole team were there. Yeah. We have also started training prosecutors, right? So we're bringing all of the pieces of the jigsaw together. So now they will know how to preserve electronic evidence, because it's very volatile. It's different from murder. For example, you come to a murder scene, you see a knife, you see blood. It's different. So you have to find ways to preserve it. That's why we're having national SAT. We're investing in training so that we will have the right competencies and the right skill sets, right, to ensure that we're able to prosecute people, whether you live abroad, whether you are local. It's even easier when you are a local champion here, like you and I.
Okay, good. So I think moving from that also, I had Minister talked about efforts made in terms of debunking, the social media misleading information that has resulted to such effects today. I think there was also robust need in terms of having what we call opinion leaders coming on board and making their packages.
But I think that was done. On Friday we had tribal heads. They were on they were on SLBC. They sat on Morning Coffee. They sent out messages to their people asking them not to.
They were using mainstream media. Yeah. I'm still talking about the social media.
That was also all over
for
social
example,
media.
We would have had opinion leaders. Those were just one set of opinion leaders. We have different forms of or types of opinion leaders who can easily go to the social media. Video clips or audio clips of their views or voices could have also helped the situation. It's never too late. We are seeing this.
So that considerably happened. You had people from market women, drivers, senior traders, that permitted social media. Probably you could have helped to join us as the university, but unfortunately the university waits till Rome is on fire. All of these prescriptions, you are Sierra Leonean, you are not going to survive in the chaotic Sierra Leone. The kind of job you do, the kind of job the university does can only thrive in perfect peace and tranquility. And this is a very beautiful idea.
Yes, political conversation on social media, one has to understand the contemporary dynamics, not much to the content, but to the effects, and how you correlate desired content as against desired effects. So what we are suffering now is undesirable effects, and therefore it's just like signal. I'm still repeating, we are getting into sensitive period, and this is why people are doing this. So we just have to, like you have said, I told you earlier, on collective and connective logic. So we really have to work on both the connective and collective logic to see how best we can manage this situation.
Okay, Dr. Tonya Musa, continue to stay with us. The program is a podium coming to you from Freetown. I'm sure you are enjoying the debate this afternoon. It's podium. Send your message. Story number 0837350. Whereas they said, go out there and do your business. Normalcy is now. And the police has assured the citizens that everything's under control. Go out there and do your business. Nothing is going to happen to you. Well, let's now bring in our colleague Mohammed Lamin Toure, who visited the central business districts, PZ and other areas to see exactly how is life there at this particular moment.
To look at how situation is this morning due to what we are seeing on strike. Let's look at what is really happening this morning. Like the bank is open as of this day. Customers are coming in to deposit and then to cash their money. As of this moment, people are queuing in to ensure that they make their deposits and their different what they're supposed to do, their normal activities as of this moment. Situation here, it's normal business is ongoing. It's like customers are just skeptical of the situation because what they are seeing that maybe another thing will happen. Some people are really afraid as of this moment to come out, make their different activities. But as of this moment, the bank is open. Service providers are here to ensure they provide this service to their customers. Few customers are queuing to ensure that some are here to deposit and then some are here to ensure they cash out their money. At this moment, let's go further and then look at the other area. Normal activities so situation. The bank is open, but few customers are in to ensure they carry on with their different activities that are supposed to happen in the bank. Well, let's. This is Shokal Commercial Bank, where I'm at now. Shokal Commercial Bank is also open, and cashiers are here to ensure the performance of their business. As you can see, the bank is empty as of this moment. Normal situation here would have been filled with people in queues, ensuring that they cash out their money while we deposit. But of this moment, it's an easy come, easy go as of the situation is now at the Okel Commercial Bank. The place is empty. Service providers, the cashiers are here to ensure that they provide what they're supposed to do to cash out and then to deposit. But the bank is empty, despite them being here to ensure that they perform their duty. As of this moment, this is the situation midday at the Sierra Commercial Bank. Between and Garrison Street. At the situation, this place should have been choked with traders displaying their various articles. But this is the situation. I'm free to make whatever movements I like. It's actually a normal situation. These shops are closed, as you can see as of now. They used to be open, but this afternoon is the current situation here at between Garrison Street and that of the butcher market as of now. And it's a bit not normal the situation. It's a skeptical situation for the business people actually. They are outside their shops waiting to see how best they can do. They are still observing the situation. These are best people sitting outside to ensure that they observe the whole situation. Shops are closed as of now. They are still waiting to see how best the situation is ongoing before they can decide what to do. Look at their various articles outside the food. This article should have been displayed by buyers coming in to ensure they buy what they want. The means of exchange between the buyers and that of the seller as of now, it's yet not normal here as of now. This is the current situation in the central part of Freetown. From Garrison Street, I'm Mohammed Lamin Toure, SMBC.
We are in one of the offices at the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education. Of course, here at this particular ministry and other offices around, work is going on smoothly. There's nothing like a strike action because we've moved in the various offices and confirmed that work is presently on. And also from the various areas we've seen, people are going in and they are coming in. Except for the challenge that some are not coming quickly as a result of transportation challenge. But I can confirm, and also from the communication person I've spoken to, Sir Sewa, work is going on smoothly, and there's nothing here that is posing any challenge, especially that which has to do with the strike action. Normal business here at this ministry is going on and everyone is busy going about their normal businesses. Thanks very much.
Thanks to Mohamed Lamin Touye earlier on, who visited some banks and also the central business districts, and just now you saw Mohamed Simbi Koroma, who visited New England, where many government offices are also hosted. Well, let me also bring in my other colleague, Emmanuel Samura, who visited Lumley and its surrounding communities. Welcome to the podium, Emmanuel.
Yes, welcome.
What did you see when you visited Lumley? Lumley is one of the bustling areas in Freetown. You go there as early as 5 a.m. You can see lots of people. You see life. I'm sure that was not the case 5 a.m. today.
Absolutely, that was not the case. I arrived there at 6 a.m. I was in Lumley because Lumley, I can say, divided into 2 different areas. We have that turntable area which goes down to the car park, and you also have the Goderich area, that Goderich aspect, and you also have the market area. All of these are areas where people used to stand for transport to board people to different places in the city. Now, at around 6 a.m., that particular time, when you go to the car park at Lumley, you hear this pura and bus apprentice everywhere. People are running because people don't want to be late. Because Lumley, when it's 7 o'clock, 7:30, then it's very, very difficult for you to get transport to go to the peninsula and also to come to the central business district. So going there this morning, which I was shocked to see that the place was quiet, and even to see a bus at that time was difficult. It was around 7 a.m. I started seeing 1 or 2 buses coming, and all of these buses that were coming, we are just saying Hamilton, just Hamilton. And then at around 7:30 a.m. I started seeing some keke plying the route, but not these buses, because the buses carries the larger number of people, but the buses were not there. But the keke and the bike riders, they were there. So the street of Lumley was relatively empty. Then also one of the things that I noticed was the presence of the police. The police were there, but they were unarmed.
Okay.
They were there, they stood somewhere sitting in different locations. They were even talking to some people, and others were in other areas. We are just relaxing.
Okay.
They were observing the situation. And also I was privileged to talk to some of the drivers, which one of the drivers told me that he is there to serve people. He said, but people are not coming. And when you look at the shops are also closed.
So by midday, what did you see? Was it the same by midday?
Well, by midday, the amount of buses that are the street increase.
Okay.
You understand? The amount of buses.
What about the shops?
But the shops are closed.
Okay.
The shops are closed.
What about passers-by?
The passers-by, you can see so many people. People are moving up and down, but it is not crowded as it used to be.
Okay. Thank you very much, Emmanuel Samura. Thank you for joining us. The program is pretty well. Few text messages here. This one said, why can't the president speak to his people? So one said, the situation in Freetown just exposed the information ministry. Our government, this is a wake-up call to address the needs of the poor and vulnerable. Why is government forcing people to go out? Well, interesting questions. I want to respond shortly.
Yeah. The government is not forcing people to go out. We're only reassuring people that, there is no security reason to warrant them stay home, just in case they want to do their business. We know this is a near gig economy. People live hand to mouth, right? They live, day to day. So we encourage people as government, our business is to create the enabling environment. We just inform them and reassure them that enabling environment is here. And we know this is not on their own volition. Some people try to create an impression of complete breakdown of law and order, right? So we wanted to correct that misinformation.
This issue, one phrase that the government and the police have used, that those who are calling for this are faceless. How faceless are they? Are they really faceless?
Well, I would love to see those faces. I would love to see those faces. Nobody knows who the people are, because if you say SLBC is organizing a program, you have a clear leadership here. Joseph Bina Kapoa, he has a telephone number, he has a contact address, and he can be reached, right? Just in case you want to plan programs with him, he will be available. So when you purport to lead a group of people, nobody knows you. I mean, if that is not facelessness, tell me what is. And I'll tell you why this is important. We have a country that has a huge youth unemployment. So government alone, we have all agreed over the years, over decades, that government alone cannot cut it. We have been cutting the private sector. We have been investing in tourism. At a time they are picking up both private sector investment drive and tourism. You know, they will have these route disruptions. They don't bode well for our country. So we cannot be saying, look, we want jobs, things are difficult, and at the same time we undermine the very foundations, right, that will make us attract much foreign direct investment, that will make us attract more tourist arrivals into the country. So this is the kind of thing.
So as the country's information minister, how would you market the country in a situation like this? If you were to go outside Sierra Leone and some of these questions are thrown at you as information minister, that's every month now people are of this view of calling for a sit-down strike. How would you respond to that?
Well, I won't say, I mean, that's too, you have run ahead of yourself too much. It's not every month now. You can't, 12 months in a year. You're merely talking about a couple of months ago and this month. So that cannot be every month now, right? I mean, all other African countries, many other African countries are experiencing huge challenges. You said so yourself. You know, these are difficult times to be in government around the world. But you have a very resilient president here. You know, at a recent function, he did note that indeed, yes, these are turbulent times as pilot, but he is tried, tested, and proven pilot. He will land this flight safely, right? So that is the assurance I will give. I mean, whoever you'll be marketing the country to already knows they are not living in a bubble. They know there are challenges everywhere around the world, but it is how governments manage it, you know, that determines your commitment to leadership. We have been able to manage to this very well. Dr. Tonya Musa did mention it is how you manage the fallout from events like this. So you see, from this 6 a.m. we have been crisscrossing this country, apart from all of the steps we took before, right? So that is ongoing. We'll continue to engage. This is not going to be...
The steps you took before today, did it bear fruit?
Well, you never know, it could have been worse if we did not do all the things we did. We worked with all the stakeholders, from motor drivers, from bike riders, from, Council of Tribal Heads and others. Any others we left out, we will bring on board next time. But a lot of effort was put into this. You even see policing. This was a new model policing. Somebody just mentioned you had them seated somewhere. They did not have arms. In some communities, they even use megaphones to appeal to people to come to the market and go about their normal business. So we are evolving as well.
Now, okay, let me bring in the drivers union man. Now, I'm sure before the day ends, maybe let's say around 4, normalcy should have returned. And you said it is not that your men do not want to convey passengers, but the absence of passengers is also a problem for now.
Of course, yes. And we are ready to do our normal business as before, like I said, and we have been engaged in our members all through this while to make sure that they do not take the situation out of control, because there are some people who like to do things out of proportion. Because I'm the only available vehicle here right now, I will charge above the normal price, but I don't think that came up this time as it was in the recent past one. So the engagement bear fruit indeed. I heard you asking the minister that what the steps that they took before, if it yielded any fruit. Indeed, yes, the situation would have been worse than this. But we see that the transport sector, which carries the people and run the business of this country, are available at all normal places. Only that the people had that initial fear that they would be hurt to come outside. But with the continuous information being given by the government and other state actors, there is the development of confidence now. And I believe by the end of the day, this will not happen as it started this morning. And for those who feel it can happen tomorrow or beyond that as it has been purported, I don't think it will happen like that. I agree with the minister that nobody will sit at home tomorrow. Because even for somebody to sit at home for the rest of the day, it's a very challenging thing, because that is not the kind of situation we are now having. Okay. We know we are going through very difficult times now all over the world, but in our own case, we can say thanks be to God, because we have been able to meet some of the difficult things there.
Okay, so Musa, in a situation, how would you ensure that your voice becomes louder?
Well, I think
the government and those faceless people who are calling for this kind of activity,
we still go to the collective action, and even the opinion leaders that they have engaged already. We have more opinion leaders. If you go even down to celebrities, this is just about, all I have learned from research is about an opinion leader sending a message, that has resulted to this effect. So we now have more opinion leaders who might even come on the other side of politics. But then we have to bear in mind collective action to save the state. So it's about generating that content wherein people can, restore confidence in everybody, and also assured, that the best way to accelerate democratic culture or processes is not about, a confrontation any longer, but it's about dialogue and how best we can, generate that spirit to work towards national development. So I think, like you have just said, from what we saw on social media, people were talking about tomorrow, next tomorrow, but we are now seeing today. So we still have efforts, opportunity to add to our effort to see how best we debunk fake information, fake news, misinformation, disinformation on social media platforms. And when those commitments are made as statements, we can also use those spots on TV, for example, or radio stations, so that we re-echo the former voices of those opinion leaders. It is very timely as we speak now.
So the information ministry is very crucial in this particular moment.
Of course, they have to take the center stage and ensure that all efforts are on board, but as it is now, it's all about the mindset of people, and the only thing that can touch that mindset is communication, which they are in charge. So I think they have to actually lead the process to see how best we can use creative approach to restore, positive mindsets. Because this is just about attitude, mindset of people on social media and outside social media. So we think that we really have to come to a point of engagement of the citizenry, to see how best, especially young people, to understand what we are going through now. Himself and me, we know exactly how Sierra Leone was some 20 years back. But those of our colleagues or brothers who are now enjoying Kush, they don't even know the history. So you have to tell them how Sierra Leone was at the time of going to Sokoine and the like. And now coming back to democracy, there are things that we just have to abide by. And I think I emphasize internet problems need what we call collective action, connective actions. So here is about saving the states. So we have to ensure that we bring all views on board to see how best we can debunk what is on social
Minister
media.
Odo, the issue of saving the state as a government, how does the government ensure that it reaches out to all manner of people? Remember Tonya said, reaching out to everyone, bringing everyone on board so that people see it as a national issue. Just like you said, the lecturer can only thrive if the society is peaceful. Where there is no peace, nothing happens, nothing flourishes.
Okay, so I've always responded to a question like this using the scenario of passengers on aircraft. I want us all viewers watching now to imagine, irrespective of our very profound differences, that we're all on board, an aircraft. If we get that goal congress that all passengers on an aircraft have, we will not run into these problems. That is what he's talking about, the collective. I don't care how much sworn enemies you are on the same flight, you all pray for safe flight, safe landing. So this is the spirit we must inculcate as Sierra Leoneans, right? In my previous work, we used to call it Goal Congress when I was HR. Yeah, you come from different backgrounds, but just have Goal Congress. put the company's values, the company's objectives as the heart and center of what they do. So it is the same thing. I mean, let us all understand, irrespective of where we belong, politically and regionally, when President Bio introduced free quality education, for example, every Sierra Leonean kid in public school benefits from that. When he introduced free examination opportunities for all public exams, every Sierra Leonean kid benefits from that. The bit goes on, right? So when we succeed together as a country. When there are challenges, we face them together. He was talking about something. We had a bitter 11-year-old civil war. You had a group of people who said they wanted to liberate the country, they wanted to introduce free education. But how can you introduce free education by burning down the existing schools? How can you provide pipe-borne water by dumping corpses into wells? Those were the kind of things we saw. So we said to Sierra Leoneans, this is a new dawn. I mean, the world has challenges, but there is good news here. You have a very focused president. You have a president who is ready, willing, and able to meander us through these challenging times. I mean, you saw what happened in other countries, Sri Lanka. We all saw it. Schools shut down, the nation literally shut down, everything closed down. Right? But we have not come to that. Even in the most debilitating of times when COVID was at a peak, we had the Quick Action Economic Response Program that ensured continued availability of all essential products, and you see government reducing prices reducing and increasing prices as world market prices dictate. So we have not been the worst in these moments. You just came from studies, I understand. Congratulations. You know, you have a clear picture of what's happening around the world. We have never, as a government, shirked our responsibility to pay public sector workers. Even in the midst of all of this, we are also doing social impact interventions, direct cash transfers, amongst others. This is a government to trust. One last for some more patience.
Are we also expecting the president to address the nation in the next few days? Even, I think Eketoma Sandy did say that the president was going to address the nation, and also I remember I read a piece from Soi Fofana. He also called on the president. Even Dr. Samabani, also a respected Sierra Leone, also said it was a high time the president addressed the nation.
Well, addressing the nation will be the silver bullet that will make all these problems disappear. I'm not sure it will be too much of an ask by citizens. As his repeats assertion, I'll convey that to him.
It's like when your family is in distress, people want to hear from you.
Yeah, but the mothers, the uncles, they talk to you all the time. The uncles talk to you. You see the father making strides. He brings food home. He brings this home. So he's probably not a father that is into too much talking. But you have other members of the family who do all this talking, who keep you briefed. You know, but if you insist that dad has to talk to you, I hear you. I'll convey those sentiments. Okay. If it's reflective of the public.
Okay, well, Mohammed, as we decided to extend the program for 15 minutes, we are running out of, we are now reaching 15 minutes. A message to your membership for tomorrow?
Well, my message to my membership, as we have been telling them even before today, they should keep on their duty and they should make sure that we are serving our people and we are serving this country with all our conscience. And we are business-minded people. If we don't work for the day, we cannot get anything out of that. So we wanted to serve our people and to serve them diligently. Nobody should take advantage of situation. The normal fare that is being prescribed by government should be given to the people, and that the people should feel that they are having a responsible transport industry in this country.
Okay. Dr. Tonya Musa, the issue of faceless people, I mean, up till now, I mean, according to the police, those who are calling, those who are inciting are faceless. The police do not know them. How do you respond to that? Responding to faceless people when we just in their room, we just a mobile phone, they have the tendency to reach out to thousands of people.
Well, that is it. You know, you might not identify the intention or the group of people doing so, but what the public could do by now is that we have to cross-check, fact-check information we see on social media, so that where possible we may have more information or better information about the things on social media. The power of social media is users generating content, and then we don't have gatekeepers there. So as a result of that, we really encourage people to act even before sharing, and where possible also we are appealing to government to see that we have more robust activities in terms of debunking the things that are on social media, whilst we try to identify the face of those who are misusing the platform. But the society must be alert in terms of preventing or even managing the situation together. Finally, I think collective action is the way to go. We really have to understand, and this is just the Sierra Leone we have, and therefore saving Sierra Leone at every moment must be our collective commitment. And if that is the case, all shades of opinion leaders, whether in politics or outside politics, we have something to do with messaging, which can prevent this type of situation in future.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Anthony Musa from the Mass Communications Department. Minister Rado Sorazaran, I'm sure by tomorrow government will be counting how much it lost today. Before that, give assurance to the people of Sierra Leone. The assurance has already been given, but maybe you may want to reiterate the assurance.
So let's talk about Creole. My people there, my family, I want to know say this thing will happen today. You know, they serve nobody interest except a group of very self-serving people there who then will not let this country meet a while. Because where people that not go do business today, but people in that category, what in them sell today, the small thing they don't pants up, and then they take look after their family. So you don't deprive them people then from that kind of thing. So some hosts sleep hungry today. We come on and you see say we get store, you get for pay city rates, you get for pay GST, you get for pay all the taxes. This day they're not going for excuse for because government send need their resources then they for able to provide social services like meal school, for able to provide clean drinking water, for able to provide good health care for all, you know. So at the same to people, government gets a way for put out information to people there. We say, do your family. Law continue for listening to government sources of information. Now in the true and credible one, let all man return to a normal business. If you have market to sell, go sell it. Not go listen to person who sit down on side. Sometimes you get social security, they go get a small thing, like a food stamp. You then if you not come on the street something, you not sell, that's you not get. So they appeal to law will declare, say we don't join like this tomorrow, and all the time, law continue for go about to normal business. For government want declare public holiday with the talker, and they declare openly. The security forces and they all over the place. And for ensure say law and order prevail. So anybody who they wait for opening business, now for open now and go do business for look for what's in there.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mohamed Rahman Suare, the Minister of Information and Communication. With thanks to my three guests and my dedicated producer Salmataba and the rest of the team. I have been your host and presenter Asmi Yuba. Till we join you again tomorrow for a fresh edition. Thanks for joining us. As the Minister said, go out and do your business. The country is calm and peaceful. God bless you. Goodbye. Thank you.